Welcome to Behind the Wheel, an audio interview series where you can learn about motor vehicle topics in the state of Maine. Here's your host, Larry Boyven.
So we're behind the wheel, and May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. And we're talking with John Kohler, Maine's Motorcycle Safety Coordinator. So let's talk about some of the things that not only the motorcycle rider can do to be more visible, but also to help out motorists themselves who are operating passenger vehicles to be more aware. So what are some of the things to do?
Well, this is something near and dear to my heart. There are a variety of reasons why people are in motorcycle crashes. Whether it's a single vehicle crash, that means the motorcyclist on their own, or a multiple vehicle crash was a crash with another motorcycle or a passenger car or whatever. So we teach in the course that these crashes happen because of an interaction of factors, okay? And so if we could remove some of these factors from happening in the first place, we could probably keep the crash from occurring. In other words, like it was pouring rain, I had poor visibility, my tire tread was low, and my tire pressure was low, and all these things individually didn't cause the crash, but when you add it all up and now you have a reason to stop suddenly, now we're in the crash. Or we overbrake, like you mentioned, we were overbraking the front brake, we didn't have training, we went over the handlebars, we weren't wearing a helmet, we were intoxicated, all these things lead up to fatalities and so forth. So if we can remove some of these things, but the number one thing, the one underlying thing that is the outstanding factor here is visibility. Cars and trucks didn't see the motorcyclists in the first place. So what I do when I ride, every ride I rode last year, I'm so tired of people pulling out in front of me. And so the motorcycle is like, you're riding down the road, you're minding your own business. I'm riding a great big white motorcycle with 3 headlights, and people still pull out in front of me. It's ridiculous. So I said, I've had enough of it. And I saw a young lady one time riding in a small town, and she had on a visibility vest, and you could see her for a quarter of a mile away. I could still see, and it was really eye-opening to me. So I took that, and I took my own vest, and I'm like, I'm wearing this all the time. And it's amazing, people stop pulling out in front of me. Now they see me. And so other instructors say, geez, John, I get what you're trying to do here, but it doesn't look cool. You've got your leather jacket on, and you're wearing this vest with these orange stripes on it. It's just not for me. It's not cool. And my answer is, I can't see it when I'm riding. So when I stop and I'm socializing with you, I can take it off because I'm not worried about being hit then. But especially I noticed it riding at night in the rain, how much more visible it makes you. And so to be cool, I had this little collection of motorcycle patches I started sewing on my visibility vest. And now it's like, hey, this can be fun. Safety can be fun. We can make ourselves more visible. Another way people can make themselves more visible on motorcycles is a light modulator. So what that is a modulating device you attach to the bike, and it makes that headlight and your brake light when it's used like a strobe light. And motorcyclists out there, car and truck motorists out there need to know about these modulators, because I've ridden with guys who had the modulators and the cars in front are pulling over. They think it's law enforcement. So law enforcement would have a blue light, okay? But just a headlight strobing with a strobe effect, they're just trying to make themselves more visible to you.
Is that similar to what we see with bicyclists?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The thing with the motorcyclists, though, they have to be able to shut that off at night. A lot of times these things won't work in the dark anyway, but if you have one where it has a switch, that's not legal at nighttime.
It's interesting you talked about clothing.
Yes.
Because I think we equate riders with wearing dark-colored leather.
Sure, absolutely. It's the Fonzie. We're all back on Happy Days of Fonzie. We've got the leather jacket. We've got to be cool.
But there had to have been a reason for the leather, and I'm just suspecting that it was if, in fact, you do fall off, it helps with abrasions and that type of thing.
I would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for my leather jacket.
Interesting.
Yeah, it saved my life. In August of 2013, I was on the interstate coming back from a safety conference, in Indiana, and I was on my way to my folks' house, and I was on the interstate, and I was in Paynesville, Ohio. I'm not making that up. Paynesville, Ohio, near Cleveland, and something in the road. I have no memory of it, but witnesses said something. I ran over something, and after that, my bike started to wobble, and I lost my front tire pressure, and the bike went 160 feet down the interstate. I went 100 feet. I woke up in a helicopter, and long story short, after a week in the trauma unit in Cleveland, and then 2 more weeks in my sister's house in a hospital bed, and making my way back to Maine, I have the helmet and the jacket from that wreck. I still wear the jacket. I stitched it up. Some of the seams split. I stitched it back up. And I got a new helmet, of course. But yeah, heavy leather jacket, or Cordura, or some other synthetics that are out there to help protect you. It's a must.
Did the accident make you a better rider?
I wish. Maybe it made me more cautious, but and I'm always cautious. I mean, the problem I have with that accident is I don't know what happened. I have no memory of that, so I'm having a hard time learning from it, and I'm still struggling with that now, 8 years later. I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? Motorcyclists always want to know, how can we improve? How can we do better? And I don't know what I did wrong. I'll tell you what I did right is I was prepared for the wreck. I had all my gear on. So that's about all I could do. And that's the thing is, it was a hot day. It was probably close to 90 degrees. I actually contemplated taking the jacket off. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, you're a program coordinator for Maine now. You can't be taking your jacket off. Hello? So I unzipped it a little bit. It had some vents in it. I opened those up. And I was on my way to a family birthday party for my father at the time. The only call I had on my phone was my brother-in-law wondering where I was. So yeah, but you have to prepare for the crash. I always tell people, the next time you ride your motorcycle, if you knew the next time you were going to be on your motorcycle, you were going to be in a wreck, what would you wear? I'd go buy new stuff, if I knew if that was the day. So I see we've already had some serious crashes here in Maine with severe head injuries for people not wearing helmets. To me, what's the first thing you think of when you hear the words motorcycle safety? First thing I think of is a helmet. And I don't understand what the problem is of not wearing a helmet, because gray cells don't heal.
We are behind the wheel, and May is Motorcycle Awareness Month, and John Kohler is our guest, and we've talked a little bit about the importance of visibility as a rider. You alluded also to positioning within the lane to help you be more visible. What do you mean?
We call that presentation. It's how you present yourself to the traffic that you're with here. So if I'm over on the left third of the motorcyclist divides the lane into 3 sections, okay? So the left third, I'm closest to the center line. Oncoming traffic, I'm closer to oncoming traffic, but I'm much more visible to them. My headlight's in their face. When I'm over on the far right third, I'm more protected, but I'm less visible. I'm over by the curb, and so that position needs to, we fluctuate that position based on road conditions and traffic conditions of what you need. So when motorcyclists can ride tandem, 2 in a lane side by side, I would not recommend that unless you are very, what one of the instructors told me, it's a skill that you rise till. So not people right out of the bat need to ride staggered. Staggered is much more safe. 2-second following distance is recommended, or more. And when you see people riding tandem, you see that other motorcycle, it's almost daring the oncoming traffic to hit them. I don't understand that mentality, but I don't know if I answered your question.
No, I think you did because, this staggered position, we see it as drivers, and I think sometimes we wonder, is this right?
Yes, it absolutely is. It's the safest the motorcyclists can be riding in a group. Group rides are very dangerous. They can be very dangerous if they're not orchestrated correctly. Whoever's orchestrating your group rides, they need to have a meeting with everybody who's going to be in the ride and separate the skill levels, make sure everyone's licensed, and set some parameters. We have a whole handout for group rides in our curriculum, and hand signals and so forth. So it can be safe, but we've had some really bad accidents with group rides in this state and in New Hampshire, and then what they do is they have a memorial ride for the people who died in the group ride. So it's then we have more problems in the next one. So it's the never-ending cycle.
So the term leader of the pack, which we've all heard, really kind of applies to motorcycle riding.
That's where it came from, I'm pretty sure.
Huh. What about blind spots with motorcycles?
You're on the motorcycle, you wouldn't think, because your head's out there in the air. You're not inside a compartment like in a vehicle. So you wouldn't think you have a blind spot on a motorcycle, but you do. So we teach people when you're changing lanes or passing or whatever, you check your mirror and you check that blind spot over your shoulder. The first time I did that when getting started with riding, and I checked my blind spot and there was a car there, I was shocked because it was not in my mirror.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Behind the Wheel, a production of the Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles in collaboration with Secretary of State Shanna Bellows. For more information on a variety of motor vehicle topics, visit our webpage at maine.gov/SOS/BMV.